Glow. And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben, and this is my review for Netflix's original series Glow Season 3. This is your opportunity to chat to me in the comments below. Are you excited for this season? Have you watched the other two seasons? Do you like wrestling movies and TV series? Get down in the comments below and let me know there. So in season 1 you saw women of all walks of life learning to become wrestlers, and there's this whole arc between their stories, and they had different character arcs becoming wrestlers, and that was kind of the fakers? That was the oh my goodness, that was the fakers. Wow. That was the main focus of the show, really, kind of introducing these new characters and arcs. Obviously, you had some interactions that were really quite dark and deep. They didn't shy away from the themes of the women in wrestling. So although the theme and the show is all about wrestling, it's about what they had to go through to get there. And season 2 was them learning to do some real kind of wrestling moves, becoming actual real great wrestlers. And in amongst them, kind of learning to deal with life. So the story and plot development of the characters kind of flowed through season 1 and 2. And now in season 3, we see them at Vegas. And Netflix has given us the 10 episodes, so I should say thank you very much to Netflix for sharing your content, which is amazing. But they've also given me some serious guidelines as to what I can share. So it's a non-spoiler review, so don't worry about that.
Let me out. I can't take it.
So in season 3, there are 10 episodes, and the timing of each episode is all over the place again, ranging from 27 minutes to 26 minutes to 35 minutes to 45 minutes. So it's all over the place. And I think that's just because they've gone with what story they wanted to tell in each episode. And for me, it did feel like each episode almost had a theme. In episode 1, you could call it Things Don't Go As Planned in Vegas. In episode 2, you could call it Sex and Relationship. A lot of sex in episode 2. Episode 3, relearning identity and health. Full frontal male nudity, I noted in my notes, because I was like, whoa, there's a penis. Episode 4, interesting. I'm not going to say anything about episode 4. Episode 5, back problems, Gina Davis.
And I love opening nights.
So as you can see, each episode has almost its own theme. They're kind of setting themselves apart. I feel like it's very different almost in a way from seasons 1 and 2. Season 3 has like these almost individual themes for each episode through 1 to 10. They're tackling different areas, and they're almost concentrating on different characters and kind of developing those characters. Really nice to see some of the character arcs of what each kind of wrestler and woman goes through. They're really tackling those dark, I won't say dark, but life issues in amongst threading the story of the wrestling. It does feel like the wrestling did take a bit of a back burner though. Where in season 1 and 2 they focused on the wrestling and the life, this time it feels like the wrestling actually did take a bit of a back burner. It takes a really long time for you to see any wrestling. In fact, there isn't much wrestling woman wrestling until episode 5, and when you do, I think it's great. It's worth it because you feel like you've built up to it. But if you're going into hoping to see a lot of woman wrestling in amongst storytelling, you might be a bit disappointed. That's not to say there isn't any, but they really spend a lot of time with the characters. And like I said, they're not afraid to tackle the dark themes. There's characters going through really strong issues that we deal with in life today, and they're kind of just showing that in characters. You've got bulimia, pregnancy, sexual identity issues. You've got identity issues, all the identity issues, what it means to be a woman in the 80s still and wrestling. Their 80s theme is very prominent in this, obviously, still, and the music is prominent in this.
Nice.
I'm not sure where I would rate this in season 1, 2, or 3, because I thought each season has quite a unique plot and character, although they do follow the continuing story arc of each character, but there is some really interesting character defining moments in this. There are also some interesting other actors that pop up. Gina Davis is in this, and I thought she was pretty good. I was glad to see her acting again. I used to love watching Gina Davis back in the day when she did films like Cutthroat Island. I know it's not a great film, but I have a soft spot for that. So I thought that was interesting. Nice to see her in this, and you will see other returning characters as well, and actors that you think you might pop up and go, oh hey, I know them. As a whole, I think the series is good, but I'm not sure it's the strongest of the 3. Characters don't seem to know what they're doing with their lives or themselves. They are thrust into almost the Vegas limelight, and now they have to deal with what life means, living in Vegas, living in the hotel.
Well, I don't really know what to say to that.
What happens with their contract, you know, and they're dealing with all these changes, and it feels like that's reflected in the story of the 10 episodes as well. I would have liked them to have got to the main character plot and arc quicker, rather than spending so much time on character development, which is weird for me to say, because normally I feel like that's the weakest thing, but here I think they spent a lot of time developing those characters and then kind of quickly rushed for the last few episodes to the main arc. I still think it's good. I think it's filmed well. I think the acting is excellent. When you do get the wrestling, I think the wrestling's fun. I do like my wrestling movies. Fighting with My Family is one of my favorite films of this year. I thought it was excellent, really well done. And so whenever it comes to wrestling, regardless whether it's male or female, I like to see what they're doing there in story, whether it carries over to screen well, because it's really hard to sometimes tell a story that way. But I think you'll probably enjoy it. If you're invested in the 2 seasons, you're probably going to be invested in this season as well. I'm not sure how many more seasons they should do of this, because now I'm not sure they know where they're going. Do chat to me in the comments below and let me know what you thought of the 3rd season, or are you excited to see it if you haven't seen it yet. I'm going to give this a B- because I think it's good, but I thought season 2 was really strong. And thanks so much for watching this review. Do chat to me in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up if you like this and share it around. And check out my channel for loads more Netflix and Amazon reviews. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.